Some people, they're more entrepreneurially minded. They want to get out there and do things rather than necessarily wait on other people to be able to do it.
Ready? All right, we're going. This is Joe time, man. All right, Joe Carr, where are we?
We're sitting in Lansing Makers Network. This is a hackerspace that started in 2012. We've got about 56 members here. CNC equipment, 3D printers, laser cutters, jewelry, blacksmithing. One of the best blacksmithing programs in the region.
Blacksmithing, like medieval blacksmithing.
Yeah, I mean, you can see it right behind us. The team here actually won a grant from Burns and Maddox for their women's blacksmithing.
Okay.
I think it was last year or 2 years ago. But so it's a really competent program, something that I think is really cool to have in the Lansing area.
Yeah. So what does hackerspace mean? What is that?
I always kind of describe it as, you imagine a gym. You pay a membership, you get to use all of their equipment, as part of that membership. Same thing here. You pay a monthly fee for membership, and then you can use, really cool manufacturing stuff. So if you want to make something, this is a great way to do it. You got the community around it. There are people here that are master woodworkers, programmers, electronics, some machinists, just a lot of different skill sets here.
Okay. And this isn't the first location, right?
No. This was originally located in Old Town, in the Old Town Temple, which was a tremendously beautiful space, but not exactly the best space, I guess, for manufacturing. So we ended up over here in the Leaseway building, 5,500 square foot. So it's a lot better layout, a lot bigger, and we're actually looking to expand beyond that.
Okay. And what's your current involvement?
I'm currently a member, and then I also serve on the board as treasurer, and I've been on the board for I think about 2 years now.
Okay, so what do you do as a member?
Well, as a member, you get access to do the cool stuff like mostly 3D printing. I'm interested in the laser cutting and stuff like that. We've got a giant CNC machine in the back that does like 5 foot by 9 foot sheet cutting that you can do. So used to make furniture manufacturing in Grand Rapids. People are doing the same thing here, making bar stools and tables and lots of fun stuff. And that's something I want to learn more about.
Okay. So how'd you get into 3D printing?
With 3D printing, one of my very first startups, it was twofold. It had a retail component to it, and I used that to fund product development. And so I bought myself a mill and a lathe and taught myself how to machine. And and I did okay with it. I did some great products with it. But I think if any real machinist watched me, use those machines, they'd cringe, because they'd be like, "Oh, that looks close enough," and then I'd, take it out of the machine and cut it or measure it, and then it would be like not even close. So I'd have to redo the whole thing.
Okay. So you said to mill and to lathe.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I don't know.
So that's what they call subtractive manufacturing.
Okay.
So you strap a block of wood, block of aluminum into a machine, and you cut away what you don't need.
Okay.
So you could strap in this block and cut out a motorcycle peg. So that's an example of something that I would make on there. And so that's, a lathe does more like round things, spindles, sliders for motorcycles, stuff like that. And the mill does more of the, I don't know, not X and Y, but that's typically how it moves, is up and down, left and right. So you cut out plates and other things like that. Obviously with CNC stuff you can do more, but that's basically how I got started in product development. And then things evolved, started moving towards 3D printing as that became more accessible. In 2012 I took the plunge, got myself a kit and started to build it.
Okay, and so retail front, where was that?
It wasn't like a storefront necessarily.
Oh, okay.
I was mostly online sales. So that's like eBay, early Amazon stuff, just direct sales. I'd go to a lot through community message boards.
Okay.
Because what I really focused on was finding niche markets. If I could find 100 people that are gathered around anything, motorcycle, bicycle, sporting goods, whatever, if I can find 100 people that are into a specific thing, I know they have a need, and I know that with simple tools, I might be able to satisfy that need. So that's why I got into rapid prototyping.
Okay, and did you do that as like an entity, or did you do it as yourself?
I did it. I mean, I had an NTD, but it was mostly, it was just me, really, and I worked as hard as I could at it,
Yeah.
and I did pretty good, and I enjoyed it, and so I've always kind of had that as part of what I do.
Okay. Where was that?
That traveled with me because
Okay.
the
All
retail, the online,
Yeah.
and this would have been like, I don't know, 2008, 2007, somewhere in that range. The fantastic part about online sales is you can basically do it from anywhere.
Yeah.
You can get a little bit of warehouse space, set up fulfillment, you can bring the inventory with you. So I bounced around. I was in Dallas, I was in Chicago, Lansing here, so wherever I was. And the nice thing was, online retail, that works 24/7. I
Okay.
only have to put in the time that I need to ship product or develop new or get inventory.
Okay. So are you from Lansing originally?
No, I grew up in northern Michigan, a small
Okay.
town on the coast, Lake Huron, called Rogers City.
Okay, yeah.
I came down to MSU to study engineering and then dropped out to start my first startup.
You dropped out of MSU?
Yeah.
Hey, me too.
Yeah, hey.
Dropouts.
That's
Yeah.
often, it's not, college just isn't for
Yeah.
everybody.
Right.
It's not a great fit for everybody. Some people, they're more entrepreneurially minded. They want to get out there and do things rather than necessarily wait on other people to
Right.
be able to do it.
So did you dropped out for your love of something, or was it school not the right fit for you?
I think it was a combination of things
Yeah.
because I would find myself, for a lack of a better word, kind of bored.
Yeah.
I remember sitting in chemistry class, and instead of focusing on what the professor is doing or focus on what I should be doing, I'm in the back of it playing with like hydrocarbon formation chains
Yeah.
and stuff like that. And that was more interesting. That was more challenging. It made sense, and I felt like I was wasting my time, and so I decided that I needed to get out there and do something, and that's how I got into the product development stuff.
Yeah, that's funny because I realized that college wasn't a good fit. I love MSU, but college wasn't a good fit whenever I spent my night studying a marketing management book
Sure.
for a class that I was not taking, and I was neglecting some of my studies because I was just, I didn't want people to get in my way. I didn't want to follow a schedule. I just wanted to go at what I wanted to go at.
And that's the type of thing that's why I say it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
Sometimes we just got to do what we do.
Was the risk scary to you, or did you not even see it as a risk?
It was, just because, especially at that time, that was something that not very many people did. In my social circle, like a couple people maybe didn't follow that traditional path. And, I guess I had enough support from friends and family to engage in these startups that that afforded me, and not everyone has that, and what I do now, a lot of people, they don't have that support, they don't have that sort of validation, which is a big challenge and a big something that dissuades people from doing a startup.
Yeah, no, I'm doing exactly the same thing, only now.
Right.
But yeah, I'm really lucky to have a family behind me supporting me. I'm really appreciative of that, and that's not a luxury everybody has, and I realize that.
Right.
But you got to follow your dreams, right?
Well, and that's a big thing. Like I was watching this thing with Seth Godin, who's like this marketing guy,
I know Seth.
brilliant, and he was talking about the story of Icarus. Everyone knows the story: don't fly too close to the sun,
Right.
or you'll crash and burn.
Right.
He says, but what people forgot about was there was another part of that story. The guy's dad, Icarus's dad, warned him, don't fly too low because the mist from the ocean is going to weigh you down. And so it's like, don't dream too big, but at the same time, you got to dream something. You know, you have to be pursuing something.
Okay. So what's your current position with Leap?
I'm Deputy Director of New Economy Division, which is a nice way of saying basically that I help people start businesses. And that can be, a new app, it can be a landscaping company, it can be an art gallery, and the biggest thing that I do is connect people to resources, whether it's financial or mentorship, or even physical spaces.
Okay. And so no discrimination versus different types of business, like any business you'll help?
Yeah, basically, you come in and do our intake process. We're going to sit down and meet with you and see what we can do to help, or at least get you pointed in the right direction.
Okay. Do you take special interest in more of like the physical companies, like people who relate to 3D printing or more mechanical stuff like you're used to?
Well, we have different programs within
Okay.
LEAP, and one specifically does focus on that. We have a startup accelerator called Proto.
Okay.
And Proto has two verticals. One of them is hardware, is physical
Yeah.
products. And so with companies, if they go through the investment process with us, we put that investment in, we work with them, connect them to manufacturing, which can involve 3D printing, machining,
Okay.
mold making, all of that stuff. And I think we've done about 3 investments so far in our portfolio. So we've only been doing this for a couple of years, but
Okay.
it's been a great experience.
So how long have you been in the new economy division?
I've been with LEAP officially
Okay.
for 2.5 years, and then for about a year prior to that, I was a consultant that specialized in the digital manufacturing.
Okay. Who else is in the new economy division?
The supervisor's Tony Willis.
Okay, yeah.
He's the director, the big chief. He's the MC for the hatching.
Yeah, I'm actually meeting with Tony this afternoon.
Oh, great.
But, yeah.
Yeah.
At least.
Yeah. Oh, good deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Tony's fantastic. I've worked with him for a long time, and I really enjoy working with him. And then, of course, our specialist is CISO. He's the head of our youth entrepreneurship. So
Right.
he goes around to all the different schools in the Tri-County region and helps them get interested
That's
in the Youth Startup Expo that we do
So
every
what
year.
are youth startups? Like, what do they look like? I mean,
It's pretty crazy because it could be an ice cream cart. It could
Yeah.
be, I mean, it's literally that trope of lemonade stand type of things. But it gets them, gets young people involved in that mindset that they can do something.
Yeah.
But then there's also like sneaker stores. There's farms. There's there's some. We had an autonomous vehicle technology startup that some kid was working on, and it was great.
So, we got the audio.
We got some making going on.
You got
here.
some making going on.
Yep.
So what's your growing up? Were you a lemonade guy? Lemonade stand kid?
Honestly, when I thought about it, ahead of this interview, I was thinking like, when did I really start getting into making things? And I grew up on a farm, so like we were responsible for maintaining all of our equipment. So I think product development, I remember trying to develop my first product when I was like 16 or 17.
Yeah.
And working with a partner down in Ohio. And this is like, I'm on dial-up internet at that point, so like it was just straight email, working with folks like that and producing these things. But it worked out great.
Okay. Yeah. So farm work ethic, is that established there? Or?
Probably, I think so, because I got photos of me as a kid, 10 years old, and I'm splitting firewood with like a sledgehammer and a maul.
Right.
And that was our thing, is like we had wood heat, so my dad would always order like 10 cords of firewood, and we'd split it all summer. So it wasn't like an active farm. We didn't have a crop necessarily like that. It's more like a tree farm. So we did forestry management, things like that. We'd let neighbors' cows come over and graze and have a herd with us. But it was a great experience, and I love going back up there.
Okay, nice. So for people who don't know, or people new to the area, what's LEAP?
LEAP is Lansing Economic Area Partnership. So we're an economic development agency, and so there's 3 basic functions that we do. Business development, so we help people retain companies to the area. We help the businesses that are established here grow and expand, and then we try to attract new expansions to the area as well. And then the other side is the entrepreneurial division, where I'm from, and then also talent and placemaking. So we do a lot of art sculptures and grants around that.
So is it all things involved with basically the economic health in Lansing?
It is. I think ultimately it's about making a stronger community. So that's the business side, that's the people, that's the talent, and just helping Lansing be an interesting place to live too. We want to have the strongest community that we can.
Yeah, and so you work with a lot of small businesses, but you work with other larger corporations too, or?
Yeah, we are not our division specifically. We did meet with a scooter company recently that had raised hundreds of millions in Silicon Valley. No, I can't say who it was.
Okay.
But we're really excited to have that type of involvement here and awareness with those companies of our region. Because we are growing. We are on track for substantial population growth, and That's going to bring tech and all kinds of fun stuff like that. But the other divisions do the bigger things. So that's going to be like that dairy processing plant up in St. John's.
Yeah.
It's like $500 million. It's an international corporation from Ireland that's coming in, and it's going to have a huge, tremendous impact, not just on our region, but on the United States, on dairy producers from all over. So we're really excited to be involved in projects like that.
Okay. So you haven't lived in Lansing forever. How long have you been here? Officially?
Off and on, I've been here probably, I would say, 13 or 14 years.
Okay.
And then I lived, about just shy of 2 years in Dallas, and then Chicago and Detroit as well.
So what changes have you noticed here since you arrived?
Man, the skyline. So you go downtown East Lansing, there's like 5 cranes up in the sky right now, more coming.
Yeah.
Coming. I came back to Lansing in 2014 from Chicago and Detroit, and in the time that I left, when I left, I didn't find much entrepreneurial support. So I always kind of described it as a lot of islands, not a lot of bridges.
Yeah.
When I came back in 2014, there were like 7 incubators.
Yeah.
And so like things had changed overnight. It felt like.
Yeah.
So it's really exciting to see that type of community involvement and stuff.
I mean, do you still feel like there's still some islands here?
I think there are, but I think we recognize that, and I think we've been putting a lot of focus on building those bridges. LEAP especially works with a lot of partners, whether it's Allen Marketplace, which is a food incubator on the east side, Spartan Innovations and the student incubator, MSU's Hatch, the Fledge. We have several different things. The SBDC is a fantastic resource here in town.
Yeah. So you guys are down in Reotown, right?
Yeah, we're down in Reotown. We've been down there for I think almost 6 years now.
Okay.
Or thereabouts, anyways.
Okay.
So yeah, we were and watching that revival. I mean, me personally, from my perspective, not even from work, I had always lived pretty close to Reotown, and there wasn't a whole lot down there in 2014. There were a couple cool things, but the art scene was really kind of stood out to me. It's a little bit, I don't know, it just feels a little bit more free, I guess, in a sense. I
like it. Yeah.
The graffiti, the murals, I love all of that. And to see what's happened to it in the past couple of years, I mean, it's fun. I go down there on the weekends, and you can see people out on the street. People waiting at Good Truck and Diner, Saddleback, Blue Owl, all of that.
Yeah, I think I went down when Blue Owl was a brand new thing. It was my first time in Reotown. A buddy took me down.
Yeah.
And I've just been hanging out there ever since.
We actually gave them some assistance. We connected them to the friend of mine that actually manufactured their cart. And that's what they got started with, generating revenue while the space was getting ready.
The cart?
Yeah. So they take it downtown. Yeah.
Downtown. Do you know how to make a cart?
I don't know how to make a cart. Not like that. Okay. My friend Joe Duck, he's a welder from northern Michigan, lives in Grand Rapids, Holland area now. He's done art prize, several times, done beautiful sculptures, super talented welder. Yeah. And so, through connecting him with Jerry Norris at the Fledge, and then working with Blue Owl through LEAP, we were able to make that connection and get that thing built, and it's beautiful.
Is his name Joe Duck?
His real name's Joe Dutchkowski.
Okay.
And so I always just call him Joe Duck. It's short. Okay. I'm Joe Carr. I'm Carr. He's Duck. Something like that.
No, I'm actually making a kombucha company with a friend.
He does that stuff too.
No.
Yeah. He's That's totally awesome. Into it.
That's awesome. I should hit him up. We want to get a kombucha cart. That's something.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways.
And that's the best thing. That's an example of bridges being built.
Right.
That's it right there. It's just getting people in the room and making those connections.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. So there's a little bit of a Reotown Old Town beef. Have you noticed that?
I don't know if I've seen it.
Okay.
I think it's 2 different neighborhoods.
Yeah.
And that's okay because they have their own identities. I think that having both of those as they are now is wonderful for Lansing.
It is, absolutely.
So all we got to do is get a little bit more life downtown, and we have this great corridor going north and south and east and west.
I agree. I think that's amazing because when I was a kid, Reotown wasn't a thing.
Right.
And now that I'm coming to an age where I'm deciding where I want to live and want to stay for the rest of my life, Reotown is popping.
Yeah.
Old Town's kind of just been on a groove for a while now.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So
they've got fantastic festivals up there, great shops.
oh, yeah.
Some great restaurants too, and that's what we need.
Yeah, Riotown had a farmer's market a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, at Gene's place, Riotown Marketplace.
Yeah, Riotown Marketplace.
What do you think of the beef?
What do I think of the beef?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I think if Lansing
Is
wins,
there actually a beef?
I don't know. Somebody's, I feel like somebody's like, yeah, we're not Old Town, or I'll get like, oh, we're not Riotown. Like they'll just
Right.
like I'll get some comments from people, but I don't know. I think at the end of the day, like it's great that Lansing's having a lot of development, and I think that's what really matters. I think at the end of the day, that's what people really care about.
Yeah, I think so too.
You know, so okay, you want to take a break?
Yeah.
Let's take a break. We got a break. We'll be back in a second. Awesome. Okay, so we're back. So the hatching.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, hatching is a long-running, I think one of the longest-running pitch competitions in the state of Michigan. So if you think like Shark Tank,
Right.
We've got typically 5 entrepreneurs that are pitching for 5 minutes to a panel of judges. And there'll be a cash prize at the end. We help with company formation, connecting with a lot of different resources like bookkeeping and legal assistance and things like that. Recently, we've kind of switched it up and done quarterly. We want to put a lot more effort into the production of the event.
Okay.
Give the entrepreneurs time to kind of produce high quality content.
Okay. Can you tell me the story behind it? How did it get started?
I wasn't there from the very beginning,
Okay.
so this is going to be a rough approximation.
Okay.
I think originally it was called Next Big Idea or something like that. We had partnered with different organizations, including the Hatch from Spartan Innovations out of East Lansing, and named it the Hatching. And I think originally it was in Beggar's Banquet in the back room.
Oh, okay.
And I actually pitched one of my companies there in October 2014. And
What company was it?
it's a company called Mazina, and so this was a new blend of material for 3D printing that used cornstarch. A box of cornstarch is like typically about a third of a pound.
Mazina?
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Yep.
That's smart.
Yep. Yeah, and so that was basically new material, new filament for 3D printing. And so we pitched there. The room was packed. You couldn't walk her in there, and the entrance was next to the stage. So people would come strolling in while you're trying to give a pitch on this like slide out screen. So we had to get a bigger spot. So we moved to Dublin Square. That was a great fit for several years, but we kept getting bigger and bigger. And in the meantime, Lansing Brewing Company had opened up, and so we brought it downtown.
Okay. So what company did come out of the hatching?
Well, probably one of the biggest ones is one that I don't think won. Saddleback Barbecue.
Saddleback came out of that? Okay.
They were a hatching contestant, and they pitched. And I think the story goes they didn't win, but we had them cater our year-end grand champion event.
Yeah.
And people loved it.
Yeah.
And so they ended up opening in Riotown, and the rest is basically history. But I think that's probably one of the most identifiable companies to come out of there.
Okay. I mean, a lot of startups have pitched out there. Not many of them come to.
I don't know if all of them have achieved that level of success. I think that Saddleback's one of the strongest ones. I think there's several other good ideas. A lot of them are MSU companies too, and so a lot of students end up leaving the area, unfortunately. Although we're seeing kind of a change in that, we're seeing more of them stick around.
Yep. Okay. So what's behind the hatching? I mean, is it ideation phase? Is it existing businesses?
It's strictly ideation. So it's people that have an idea, they want to kind of develop it, and that's really what the cash is for. Help them get their LLC formed, and then help them test it out in the market a little bit. We've kind of relaxed it a little bit this year. There used to be no formed companies at all. Now it's if they've formed within like the past 60 days or something.
Past 60 days.
Yep.
Okay. How do you help them with the LLC formation? Is that through Lead?
So what we'll do is we'll refer them to either one of our one of the law firms in the area. So that could be Foster Swift, Loomis Law, or several others. And that's typically if they have a partnership structure or something like that. Sometimes people are a little bit earlier than that even. They're just on their own. They just want to get some liability coverage. So we'll just send them to Laura to do form an LLC, a single member.
Single member LLC.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you have any tips for people going on?
Going on to the hatching.
Yeah, like maybe somebody trying to pitch a podcast show. Do you have any tips?
Yeah, I think so. I think I would watch the old videos
Okay.
and watch some of the pitches, because you're going to get a feel for what's a good pitch. I mean, the judges always like to see, they want to have a clear concept of what you're trying to do, and they want to see a path for growth, and that almost always involves some kind of financials. And customer surveying is probably your best friend. So if you can say, hey, I talked to 10 friends and they said they'd buy my product, or they gave me this feedback or something like that. And by the way, that's kind of the journey of the entrepreneur beyond that. It's going to be something very similar to that process where they've got to go out and qualify their product. They've got to figure out how to make it fit in the market.
I mean, what's substantial? Like, is 10 friends going to be compelling to a judge?
What's that? 10 friends?
Like, yeah, if you're doing like a survey, like what's a real survey that would get?
I would say that 10 friends is better than 0.
Okay.
100 people, strangers, is better than 10 friends.
Okay.
So somewhere in that range. I mean, if you have a sample size of 5,000, they're gonna be like, what are you doing with your time that you have this much time
to make a giant sample? Yeah.
Or they're gonna question too, like, are these people that you actually know, or are they just like, mechanical Turks on Amazon or whatever that, like you just putting a survey out wherever and people are answering without actually, necessarily answering, with the validity of the survey.
I mean, so what other common factors to the pitch deck are there besides financials? Like something that's like crucial. I
always like to encourage people to have, you got to have your elevator pitch down, because a lot of people will do like, oh, my idea is like Uber for this.
Yeah.
That's a great. That's
Is that overused?
I think it is in some ways.
Like,
yeah, I think in a lot of ways it is. But the reason it's overused is because it's effective.
Yeah.
Because if you say that I'm trying to do this thing and it involves this complex, people lose. You got about 5 seconds sometimes. And you got to be quick and you got to be on the ball.
You got to say something that makes sense. First time, first go, they get it.
Clarity is super key. Does it make sense? Because if it makes sense, it might make dollars.
Okay. So do good ideas ever come in with a horrible presentation?
Well, a lot of people that we work with, they've never presented in front of a group.
Right.
And so that's one reason we've kind of switched to from monthly to quarterly is we want to take more time with the entrepreneurs. So we work with the SBDC and do a pitch workshop, and then we'll spend some one-on-one time and at least get them the tools that they need in order to have a good pitch. Then we encourage them to go out and talk to anybody, go to Toastmasters, get in front of, 5 friends, get in front of your family, Skype with somebody, whatever you got to do, but get the experience, because the more you're on stage, the more you're able to talk about your idea. I mean, you're the expert, it's your idea, so don't be afraid of that.
Is it hard for the judges not to have some inherent bias towards somebody who's just killing it in the presentation, or somebody who might have a great idea but kind of stumbling a little bit?
Well, it can definitely affect it, because if they're not able to effectively communicate their idea, are they also, how is their ability to perform in other areas? Right. So that does have some consideration. That said, not everyone's a natural born presenter. So we do have to kind of weigh the validity of the idea, the path for growth, and if that outweighs, snafus in a presentation, so be it. Yeah, that's no problem.
So do you know what the typical turnout is for hatching?
I would say we average about 100. We've had 100, 120, I would say. So it's a good group. And the great thing is, Tony Willis is normally the MC. He'll always ask, hey, how many people, this is your first time at the hatching? There's a lot of hands. Yeah. And I always tell entrepreneurs, even if you don't pitch, go to the event, because it's super important for you to connect with the rest of the ecosystem. Yeah. You're going to meet other people that are in your same spot, facing the same challenges. And then also the other half of the crowd happens to be some of the best mentors around. Yeah. So it's a fantastic. So do you think that's a good networking opportunity for young entrepreneurs? Like, should every young entrepreneur in the area come to this? Yeah, and they should not be afraid to stick their hand out to a stranger and say, hey, my name's Joe, and this is my idea. What are you working on? Yeah, this is what I do. Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're gonna cut a break right here. We got a break. We'll be back in a second. All right, let's get going.
We already are.
Okay, we're back. All right. Okay, so we're gonna do my new favorite segment that we just started.
Oh, good.
Ask you some questions.
All right, I got some answers for you.
All right, what's your favorite restaurant in Lansing?
we have a food I swear we have a food renaissance going on. Food trucks, all kinds of stuff. In my neighborhood specifically, I mean, it's pretty well known. Capital City Barbecue, some of the best banh mi and pho in the area.
Yeah.
But I got to shout out to Nolo Soul, which is a food truck on the south side, and they do these like egg roll wraps.
Yeah.
And they are like just brilliant because it's like basically a meal in one of the wraps, but then you can get like peach cobbler wrap, like spring. It's so good. I can't even tell you. So find them out. They're something worth visiting.
Yeah, so we're having a food renaissance. Why is nobody talking about it?
I think there's an awareness of it.
Yeah.
But I'm just surprised. Like obviously, Diners, Drive-ins, and Dives or whatever that show is has come a couple
Guy
times.
Fieri?
Yeah, come here a couple times.
LansingPreneur, Guy Fieri.
Yeah, there you go. But he's visited a couple times, and that's fantastic. But I mean, this is blowing up. This is crazy how many food trucks that we get on the startup side of things, but how many we see at festivals and stuff like that. I mean, I'm surprised I don't weigh 800 pounds. I'm not even kidding, because all of it is so good.
Yeah. What would you like to see come to Lansing that's not here, food-wise?
I keep a list of restaurants that I want to try, and like I just saw on the City Pulse about it was Nepalese food, a Nepalese barbecue. I think it's I'm gonna screw up the name, Chichi and Papa in East Lansing. I can't wait to get over there. And that's the thing is like I told you about Nola Soul. It's like these weird combinations, these interesting things. Like I don't even know what to tell you, but just hit me with it. You know?
So favorite festival event happening in Lansing?
Favorite festival
within recent history.
Recent history. I've been going to Jazz Fest and Blues Fest for a long time. I'm excited to see Primes coming up this weekend. Art Attack in Reotown, Lansing Beer Fest. I mean, I really love the Reotown stuff, man. They know how to turn up.
Oh yeah, they do. Okay, brewery, distillery.
All right, brewery. I really like Eagle Monk. Eagle Monk, yeah. So
I don't know Eagle Monk.
It's kind of tucked away on the southwest side, but it is. Every time I go in there, I can't find a seat. Okay. And it's not just their beer; it's like the food is fantastic. The space is awesome. They have a new patio this year. I just wish they were about like a block from my house. They're fantastic. So that's my favorite beer brewery. And of course, there's Ellison's coming to Reotown. There's Ozone up in Old Town. There's so many good ones too that I couldn't mention them all right now. But distillery, I'm glad to see Michigan opened up. I love American Fifth, and I can't wait to see what else comes out of that.
Awesome. Okay, entrepreneurial icon in the area.
The person that I would go to for advice on a startup that I was working on is Tom Donaldson at the SBDC. I think this guy's seen it all. I've seen him work with people, and he's just absolutely phenomenal. That whole organization is great. Lori Lonsdorf and everyone else there is great.
Awesome. Okay, Joe Carr, thanks for coming on.
Hey, join us at the Hatching on September 26th. Can't wait to see everyone there.
Awesome. Be there.